Hello BookTube, and welcome to Friday Comics. I had a lot of plans for this Friday Comics. I was going to give you a long and detailed update on the phenomenon known as Comicsgate. I was going to take you through another graphic novel, but I have had a toweringly angering day, and so I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to go through another batch of back issues and chat about them a bit, just to calm myself down. I don't imagine that many people are watching these videos, only the diehard comic book fans. We ended a long box, one of the long cardboard boxes full of back issues that I have. I have a handful of them. I don't have thousands of them like the comic book neckbeards do online. But I've moved on to another one. I've moved on to another one of those boxes. And it's going to be the same thing. There's not going to be much organization here. So let's see. Okay, first we have a pair of issues of the Avengers from the 70s. Yeah, 1971. Wow. So this is Avengers Number 91. This is an absolutely horrible Sal Buscema cover in which there are, I count, seven people, seven characters on the cover. Each one of them is saying something. Each one of them, there are eight word balloons, because Goliath is saying something twice. He's saying two different things. Just a horrible, horrible cover where you can't see, you see the backs of your heroes, where you have to read more than you have to watch. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But part of a pretty good storyline. Sort of a prelude to a much revered comic book storyline called the Kree-Skrull War. And this one is Thor, Avengers number 97, which is right at the climax of the Kree-Skrull War. There is a Gil Kane cover that is actually very good, which I believe Bill Everett inked this. I know that's Gil Kane, but the inking on the Submariner, who is Bill Everett's character, looks different than the inking on the others, and it looks very much like the way Everett would draw the Submariner. This is also artwork on the inside by Sal Buscema, but it's with Roy Palmer inking, which is really, really good. Roy Palmer's fantastic for inking. He gets the shadows in and it cleans up the lines and everything. And this is sort of the climax of the Kree-Skrull War, where we learn something about the Avengers' teenage sidekick, Rick Jones, that we didn't know before. Doesn't make any sense at all, but I really enjoyed it when it came out. Oh, look at this. Oh my. Okay, this is great. I think this is the only example of this that I have. This is from 1988. This is Amazing Heroes from 1988. That is a Bill Sienkiewicz cover of Superman being faster than a speeding bullet for his 50th anniversary. And this is was an industry magazine that has lots and lots of interviews. It has previews of upcoming comics. In the back, it has reviews of the latest comics the reviews are wonderful, totally opinionated. The editors obviously just told the reviewers, you're off the hook, just write whatever you like. And I loved Amazing Heroes. I never missed it. And I don't think it exists anymore, even online. And I don't think there's much else like it. That's for sure. I imagine all of this stuff would now take the form of a YouTube channel. But most of the comic book related YouTube channels are unbearable to watch. They just unscrew your back teeth. They're so syrupy and fake and androidy. Just most of them are just unbearable to watch. So I don't think there's any equivalent for Amazing Heroes, and that's too bad, because I loved it. Okay, all right, this is from the 1990s. This is Louise Simonson, is that right? Louise Simonson, yeah, did a run on Superman, and one of the issues that they did had a gimmick. The 90s were big for gimmicks on comic books, and this one was the gimmick was that you got a blank cover that was sort of coated plastic, and you got a sheet of stickers, and you could make your own cover. You got the villain, you got the heroes, you got the sidekicks, and you just stick them on. I don't know if you can tell. Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, Superman, all of these sound effects, Lobo, they're all stuck on. I made this cover myself. All that you actually got was the Daily Planet and Metropolis in the background, and you had to make the rest of it. It was kind of a neat gimmick, but I don't think I have any other issues in this run. It's Jod Bondanovich artwork, and that gets he gets a little much for me as a Superman artist. Oh my, okay, great. I am glad to see these things, because I'm going to get rid of them. This is Thor, a huge run on Marvel's Thor. Just gigantic. All these issues, Into the Dark Nebula, fighting the Absorbing Man, finding all sorts of, look at that, incredible. And the reason I'm going to get rid of these, they're in terrible shape. They're just read all to pieces and gone because I've read them so many times. And the reason I'm going to get rid of them is because I have them all. I have these all now in Thor Epic collections and Thor hardcover masterpiece editions and whatnot. I don't need these issues anymore. Some of these are less good than others. Let's just put it that way. Some of them are rather bad. Like for instance, this whole storyline where Asgard is invaded by giant insects. That's a good. I've seen better days. This whole Ego Prime business is just bad, just poorly thought out, poorly done. I wonder if there's even in this entire batch one single good cover. Well, yeah, this is a great Gil Kane cover right there. Nothing like that happens in the book, but still, most of these are just John Buscema covers, and they are just terrible. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Where are you supposed to look? What's going on there? I don't have any idea. I know. Most of these are just terrible. And quite a few of them are like, here's one where Thor fights Mercurio from the Death Dimension or whatever it is. And this thing's just falling apart. I don't know why it's falling apart because I haven't read these that much. They're not any of my favorites. Oh, there's a classic John Romita Sr. cover. Way too much wording on the cover, though. Look at all the writing on the cover. It's ridiculous. So I'm glad to see these because they will not be going back in that long box. I will just put them. I'm developing. I have a sort of a cardboard box that I'm filling with back issues that we go through on these comics, these videos that I don't need anymore. Have them in hardcovers on acid-free paper. I'm not going to need these issues anymore. Okay, all right. And this is the same thing. These are a crossover, which was kind of rare back when this was done. These were done in the 70s. This is Avengers number 127 with a fantastic Gil Kane cover. Look at that. You have Thor and the Vision from the Avengers, but you also have the Thing from the Fantastic Four, and there is Black Bolt from the Inhumans. Just a terrific issue. Although the writing itself is just terrible. Who is this? Roy Thomas? Steve Englehart. He doesn't usually do bad issues, but this was just terrible. It crosses back over to Fantastic Four number 150 with a bad Gil Kane cover. Where again, I don't know what's going on here. Is that 100-foot monster grabbing Quicksilver by his arm? I don't have any idea what's going on here, but this continues the storyline that starts in this issue. And that it's a two-part storyline, and it makes very little sense. There's almost nothing in it that does. I broke it down once. I'll have to see if I can find that. I've promised in many videos that I would leave links to appropriate writings in the show notes, and I haven't done it. Now, several of you have taken me to task for that, and I appreciate that because I should do that if I have. I've written about a huge amount of what I talk about here, and I did a long scene-by-scene takedown of this two-parter that I need to just find. I need to find it and clean it up. I'm sure that the codes are all broken. I'm sure the links to the pictures are all broken, and I can fix all that. So I really need to do that. Okay. All right. Then this next one, we've seen this before. This is Quasar, the Cosmic Avenger. These are from the 90s. And the reason that I have them, Quasar was a very boring character. He was just this guy who got magic bracelets and could do all sorts of amorphous energy-related things that weren't very interesting. And he didn't have any real limitations. And he didn't have anything like a real personality. And he just had vaguely cosmic adventures. The reason that I got his books was because for a long while they were drawn by Greg Capullo, and he drew them in a very distinctive art style. I've shown you some examples of it, and I would like to show you some examples again in these 3 issues. But it turns out these 3 issues are Quasar issues that Greg Capullo did not draw. Or did not draw the majority of them anyway. The first and the third one don't have his artwork at all. This is just terrible stuff. So I don't know why I have these. They will go in the pile as well, right, with these Thor issues. Old issues of Quasar that are drawn by Greg Capullo I would very much like to have, especially since I don't know if they've ever been collected. But I don't want such a boring character drawn by anyone else, unless it's even better than Greg Capullo, and Quasar never had that. So off those go. Okay, and then we'll end. Well, this will be a quick, since those Thors, there was a whole bunch and I didn't have to go through them one by one. This back issue video will be shorter than usual. At least we end on a good note. This is Ambush Bug. This is a 4-part miniseries that I've mentioned before. There is Qantas, the koala that walks like a man, and there is Ambush Bug. mocking Frank Miller's Ronin. This is issue number 2 and number 4 in a miniseries where we follow this character, Ambush Bug, who thinks on this cover he finds Qantas, the koala that walks like a man, so funny that he can't even pay attention to the fact that it's laying waste to the city. This is by Keith Giffen, who wrote it and drew it, and it basically is what you have to imagine is Deadpool. This was Deadpool long before Deadpool was Deadpool. A character who knows he's in a comic book, a character who breaks the fourth wall and talks directly to you. And these issues are great. And again, I don't know if they've ever been collected, so I have no idea. And the gimmick that Keith Giffen came up with at the end of every issue was to goose sales. He would include Darkseid. He would include an appearance by Darkseid, figuring the fanboys would have to collect it. Then they would have to buy the issue. So Ambush Bug is at McDonald's. He finally gets up and looks out and, no, not you. And we turn the page, and it's Darkseid with a little hat on, handing him. Purely cynicism. Kiffin did it. He said that he did it because he knew that fanboys would have to collect it. But he did. These things were lots of fun. In addition, he employed a very cartoony style, and all throughout. And the number of industry in-jokes, oh my god, it's off the charts. It's so much fun. So that is it. That is a very much abbreviated Friday Comics. I'm gonna have to wait until I'm in slightly better spirits to do. On Wednesday, I'll do a nice, indulgently long comic book video. But for now, I just wanted to touch base. So I will wrap this up, but I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.